So are we ready? Appreciate all you guys being here. We just rolled out of practice, so our practice block is in the morning, so we're getting ourselves together a little bit, but really excited about the group we have. You know, this year is really a lot of new, if I could describe it in one way. We've got 3 new coaches, new assistant coaches. We have 8 new players. The 3 sitting up here with me, along with 2 others, are our only 5 returners, and these 3 are the only 3 that played significant minutes for our team last season. So obviously lost Lindsay Duval, our first team all-conference guard and our leading scorer, and so figuring out how we're going to pick up the slack. And you don't replace a player like Lindsay, but it's been exciting. It's fun to come to practice every day. It's a new challenge. It's new faces. It's a new offense, a lot of new on defense even. So just really enjoying the journey that we're on together and enjoying getting to know all of these players and their strengths and some of our weaknesses as a team, and where we can improve those, and really try to build on how we finished last season. Was really proud of how we finished and made it to the semifinals and took Cleveland State into overtime, and really played a tough game. And so, hoping now for our program, just taking that next step and getting to the championship game. And like Coach Horn always says, and I agree with him, it's all about, in our conference, 3 days in March. We have to win 3 games in March to make the NCAA tournament, and that is our goal. So just enjoying that journey to get there, hopefully.
Coach, you mentioned a new offense. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. And when I say offense, it's not really an offense, but Coach Doug Novak is one of our new assistant coaches. He's been in the game for a really long time, not to make him feel old. He's sitting back there in the back of the room. But, he's most of his time's been spent on the men's side, but he's really well known for his offensive abilities as a coach. And that's been really nice for me to be able to have someone with such great experience and to even teach me. I'm not above that. I want to grow, and I want to learn, and I want our team to improve. And we've kind of developed his philosophy of a kind of goes against everything that we learned growing up in basketball, but kind of a me-first attitude for our team. And, the way that works really, it's just really about our footwork, about our passing, about our fundamentals, about moving, not passing and standing. It's a motion type of offense. I'm not going to call it a system because he'd be upset with me if I call it a system. But it's just 4 out, 1 in motion that utilizes everybody. I would call it a little bit of an equal opportunity offense. Which I think our players most importantly fit into. We're all trying to build a team that utilizes the strengths of our players, and I believe that this is what that offense does.
Coach, how about if you just kind of talk about your assistant coaches, since they're all new, and what roles they're going to bring to your staff?
Absolutely, not to take away from other assistant coaches, because I think our staff is a really good staff. We had a lot of consistency in the past, which has been great. And then, as we all know, people move up and move on. And that's what I would want for our staff. But I mentioned Coach Doug Novak, and then Coach John McCray and I have known each other. We've kind of grown up in the business together. He's going to be mainly focusing on our defense, as well as myself. We kind of are going to spearhead the defensive efforts. And he comes most recently from Holy Cross. They won a championship last year. He is a Jim Foster product, if you guys know that name. Been around the women's game for a really long time, really successful head coach. And he had the opportunity to work with him for a couple different periods of time. And so just brings a lot of great knowledge, a great ability to build relationships in the recruiting piece. So really happy to have John on staff. And then Coach Mallory Odell, she comes to us from Valdosta State, played at Longwood University, and she's helping our post players. She's helping Coach Novak with offense. She pretty much takes care of everything in the office day to day, the organization, helping with recruiting and all of those pieces, academics too. So really glad to have her. And then we've got Megan Walls back as our Director of Basketball Operations, who keeps us all in line on a day-to-day basis.
Coach, you mentioned all the new, but you've also got 3 really outstanding contributors coming back to kind of bring all the new together. Can you talk about the 3 up on stage with you? Obviously, they're a big reason why you got to Indianapolis last year, and I would imagine in bringing everybody together, they're going to be a big part of kind of getting this group ready to try to make a run back to Indy this year as well.
Absolutely. You know, it's been, I say these 3 would agree with me, it's been a bit of a challenge, you know, because we're all trying to learn together and we're trying to help others along, and, you know, me with the staff and them with the new players. And I'm just really proud of these 3 and how they have approached it. We lost a lot of our voices, a lot of our leadership that were a part of our team last year. So I think these guys have really tried to pick that up, but also tried to improve on some things that we thought maybe, you know, in reflection, we could improve on. One area is our team building. They've spent a lot of time together this summer. They planned their own trip as a team this past weekend. And, you know, that team chemistry, as we all know, is really, really a valuable piece in success. And so these guys have continued to work hard on the court, and I do think that in this kind of new offensive system, it's really benefiting the 3 of them. We had the opportunity to do a little scrimmage yesterday and saw some really, really good things that out of these 3 and the rest of the team that show a lot of improvement from last season. So, you know, these guys are going to be really critical in our success and our leading and teaching the 5 freshmen and the 3 transfers, you know, what we expect in our program, what our culture's like, you know, how we do things on the court. And they continue to grow in that area, and we're all continuing to grow in that area as well as a team.
So Coach, kind of talk about your newcomers. Obviously, you know, it's kind of an overhaul of the roster a bit. So kind of, I know some of them are familiar names,
yes,
others are not. So just kind of talk about them and just introduce them and what maybe roles they'll play for your team.
Well, you know, we've got 5 freshmen, 3 of which are post players. So those 3 are going to really have to step up in that area. I've been really impressed with them and how they've been able to just really kind of step in and contribute already right away in practice and just in their work ethic and their ability to pick things up quickly. Carter McCray is a freshman from Ohio. She continues to impress me every day. I thought when she came in she's going to be a project. I don't think she's a project by any means. I think she's going to be an impact player right away, and has a great attitude and really skilled around the basket and a great rebounder, got some good size. So it's something that we have needed. And then Gabby Rosano is a local product from Mason, Ohio, played for a really great coach and a really great team at Mason, and just knows how to win, and she's also really skilled. And then our other freshman post player, help me out, Meadow from Bowling Green, Kentucky. There's so many new ones. I have to kind of go through my head. Meadow Tisdale from Bowling Green is just a force down there. She is really strong. I mean, nobody wants to guard her because they don't want to box her out because she's so strong. And, you know, when you look at our past teams, some things that we've struggled a little bit with, and no discredit to our post players because we've had some good ones. But we struggled a little bit down there. And so having those players that can come in right away and they're going to have to play, it provides us with some immediate kind of impact at the post spot. And then Noelle Hubert is a local player. She's another freshman from Notre Dame. Really great shooter. If you ever watched her play in high school, she's just a phenomenal shooter and is really starting to come on and pick things up quickly. And then our last freshman, Madison, who was a late signee. She had committed to Miami of Ohio. And then we got her on the back end because we recruited her early before she committed. So she signed with us late and got here in the summer. And she's also going to be a really talented freshman, skilled, big guard that, you know, can do some different things. She can shoot. She's really smart, got high IQ. And then going to our transfers, one of which I'm sure you guys are familiar with, Maya Meredith from Scott High School. I recruited Maya since 8th grade, and so to be able to get her on the second time around for my alma mater, I'll take her for sure. But, Maya has such a high level of play in her. Being able to keep her healthy is going to be important. But she was Freshman of the Year in Conference USA at Western Kentucky, and that's no easy feat. And so, she definitely has that level of play to back her, and she's got great experience. So that's going to be beneficial for our team. Same goes for Macy Blevins and Calissa. Calissa's from Eastern Kentucky, can really flat out shoot the basketball and knock down threes. Shot over 40% at EKU, and it's something that we needed to add. And then Macy Blevins, I think, has surprised me a little bit. I watched her play. We recruited her also since high school. It was down to us and Western Kentucky for her final two. She went to Western, and then we got her again on the back end. But just a really strong physical guard, has a high IQ. She can post, she can shoot the three. She really is a great passer, and has an ability to just kind of make everybody around her better. So that's a little brief rundown of our 8 new players. And I do think all 3 of those transfers and several of our freshmen are going to make an immediate impact.
Coach, I wanted to ask you about your non-conference schedule and how competitive you think it will be leading into Horizon League play.
I think this is the most difficult schedule in the non-conference that we've had since I've been here. We're still returning a game from COVID, believe it or not. Our first game against Indiana State was a COVID game that we've had to push for a couple years because we haven't been able to find a date. So, opening up with Indiana State, a fairly new coach, new system. They, like us, have a lot of new players. So, it's going to be like tipping it up, almost blind, leading the blind out there in that first game because we won't have any game film to watch. But they're always competitive, Indiana State, in their league. And so that'll be a tough home opener. And then, we go to Eastern Kentucky, and that always is a competitive game for us, that little in-state rivalry. And then we'll return home against Marshall. Marshall's got a new coach, a lot of new players. So, again, it'll be a team that we're not going to be really familiar with, but know a few of their players. They got several freshmen, I know. And then, we go to Daytona for a tournament, which I think is going to be really valuable for us. We haven't gotten to play an in-season tournament where you actually play 2 games back-to-back. And we need that because whether you win or lose the game, we need that experience for those 2 games that come in March. Make it to the semifinals. You got to play back-to-back games. You need to know what that feels like. And so down in Daytona, we're going to play Pitt, which, will be a tough matchup for us, but it'll be a good one, kind of show us where we are. And then UT Chattanooga, they always, going back to Coach John McCray, he worked there for Coach Foster, and then Wes Moore was there for a really long time, and they've won tons of championships at their league. So really tough games. We go play Tennessee Tech in Middle Tennessee on a 2-game road swing to try to emulate kind of what Green Bay, Milwaukee is like. So we try to schedule strategically to simulate some of those things that are going to happen in the season. Tennessee Tech won the OVC last year. Middle Tennessee won Conference USA. And so we decided we'd take Kamari back home and get her back to Tennessee for a bit. But, those are going to be 2 very, very tough games on the road. But we got to win tough games on the road to win the league. And so, for me, my philosophy is the best way to get our team prepared for that is to go play a challenging schedule and to get prepared for it. And then we're going to Illinois. And so that'll be kind of a fun one for me because Coach Shauna Green and I worked together for 3 years at Dayton, the same 3 years, and had a lot of success there. And she's done a great job and had a lot of success in her career. And so we decided we'd get back together and go up against each other. So that'll be a fun game for our team, too, to be able to play at that level. Most likely, when we make the NCAA tournament, we'll be playing at a place like Illinois. And so to be able to feel that environment and to know what that feels like, I think is really important. So it's a tough schedule, but we'll be ready.
Just questions for all 3 athletes up there today. I think Cleveland State's going to be pretty brutal this year. What do each of you think you need to do differently to dethrone them this season?
I go. I think that we just need to dig a little bit deeper. I mean, we all tried our very best last year. I'm not saying we didn't, but I think will to win, just has to show up a little bit more on the court and to be able to do it for more than 4 quarters of the game because it went to overtime last year. So I just think that we need to just dig a little bit deeper and we'll get the win.
This year I feel like our bench is a little deeper, so we're going to have a lot of fresh legs coming off the bench, and I just feel like we could run with them a little bit better.
To piggyback on that, with us running, I don't think they'll be able to keep up with us because we're very conditioned this year. And I feel like if we play more together, like we did play together last year, but if we keep the same intensity as last year and play together, I think we'll be number 1 in the conference.
Again, for the players, with everything new this year, new coaches, a lot of new players, is there one or maybe 2 aspects from each of you that you guys are looking forward to sort of this season with all of that?
Go ahead.
With the newbies, I feel like we're all learning together because there's new coaches. It's a new offense. So we're all learning the same things together and just playing with each other more. Like it's just going to create more chemistry on the court, and we just have to play to get that.
I really like it. I like the different. I think we needed it. It's a good difference, and I think it's good for us because we are a new team, and we're all learning it together at the same time, so we're all going to be on the same page, so I like it.
I'm just happy that we're all new to the new offense that we're running because not everybody knew exactly what we were going to do like the first practice of the season. So I just feel like us learning it together is going to help us get through it better throughout the season since we're doing it all together.
I think, I know you didn't ask me the question, but I'm going to answer the question. I'm going to answer for them. I think with the newness and what they're talking about, I think that it's exciting because it gives them kind of something to look forward to. You know, we kind of get in these routines of this is the way we're going to do it. This is the way we're going to do it. This is the way we're going to do it. And so to have kind of a fresh team, fresh eyes, fresh coaches, kind of a new offense. It's really, I mean, it's not a new offense. We've been running a lot of similar things. It's just a new way of kind of implementing and teaching. And I think for them, if I am speaking for them and what I heard, knowing the 3 of these guys, just looking forward to that newness and the ability to kind of get out there. You know, you play in this conference, you play everybody twice. Everybody knows exactly what you're doing every single night out. And sometimes that can be exhausting. With what we're doing, it's unpredictable. It's hard to scout. And so I think that is something to look forward to. And then, you know, with the new faces, really nobody's going to know. Now that by the time we get to conference, we'll have played 9 non-conference games, and so they'll know. But, you know, with the new faces comes just a lot of uncertainty from other teams. And so I think it'll be a little bit more difficult to predict and scout. And I think all of our players who understand the game are looking forward to that. Mm-hmm.
This will be for all 3 of the players. Mari, we'll let you go first, nobody steals your answer, okay? All 3 of you guys were kind of, you know, complementary pieces in the past, and now obviously you're leaders. How has your role changed and your approach changed in the day-to-day grind when you've got, let's say, 8 players who are brand new looking up to you, for example?
I just feel like it changed because since I'm an upperclassman now, I have to be the voice of the team along with my other upperclassmen as well. And I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Just having all these new players, just having them like buy into our culture here and just like reiterating it every day, like small details is what our culture is about, and just keeping everybody on the same page with that.
I agree with them, but I think the biggest difference for me as far as a leader is that I don't have Ivy anymore to take that spot, and now I'm the lead point guard on the team, so I have to be the one to lead by example. I can't be, lean on Ivy to do it or anybody else to do it. So,
Coach, looking at the Horizon League kind of across the board, obviously Green Bay has quite a few players back, but outside them, and obviously Destiny Leo being back in Cleveland, but otherwise that roster is pretty well turned over as well. Feels like across the league there are a lot of new faces, a lot of transition. Does it feel like that's kind of an opportunity, even with such a new group here, that there is an opportunity out there to kind of get things rolling by the time conference season starts and make that run back to Indianapolis again?
Absolutely. You know, there is a lot of uncertainty, but those top three or four still remain. You know, Youngstown State has almost everybody back, and I know they've got an interim coach this year, but still, it's still consistent, and they're going to be really good. Green Bay they've won our league 16 years. You know, you don't sneak up on a Green Bay. And so they've got a great coach. They've got great players. It's a tough environment to go there and play. They are seasoned in tournament time. And so, you know, when you're up against teams like that consistently in our conference, you know, it is a battle. And then, of course, Cleveland State. When you have a player like Destiny Leo, you know, I mean, you put her on our team and we're probably picked number one. And so, you know, I think that the top of our league kind of remains, and we're all fighting to get there, to get where our men have been able to get. You know, that's definitely what we're working toward. But I agree with you that the rest is kind of unpredictable. And it'll be interesting to see because, you know, you look at Robert Morris, who before they came into our conference, I mean, they dominated. And so, you know, he's going to do a good job of recruiting and he's going to get it going. It's just, it takes time when you enter a league like ours that's so competitive. And then Detroit's got a new coach who has had the opportunity now in this offseason to bring in new players and incorporate her style. And IUPUI, same. You know, it's second-year coach. I mean, they're going to continue to grow. Fort Wayne, we can't leave them out. What they were able to do last year was amazing, and they've got everybody back. And one of our former players on their staff, I might add, but luckily she doesn't know all of our secrets. But, you know, she does a great job at Fort Wayne. They're picked 4th this year, and Milwaukee consistently is good, always. And so it's just you can't take a night off on our side, and I know on the men's side it's the same way. It's just a really competitive league. But again, like Coach Horn always says, at the end of the day, it's those 3 games in March that we're gearing up for and that we've got to win. And so, you know, we can't take a night off. We've got to learn to be consistent and to win some of those close games. You know, last year I thought that and this might kind of allude to what KD was saying earlier, and we've just got to be a little bit tougher in those moments, and we've got to be able to make more winning plays. And, you know, I always am looking at what can we do from a coaching perspective, from a coaching standpoint to improve. And, you know, we're going to continue to do that. But I think winning some of those close games this year is going to be really important too, and flipping the script on those. So it'll be interesting to see. It always is, to see how it all shakes out at the end. Takes a lot of luck. A lot of good fortune, you know, no injuries. There's so many factors that go into it. Thank you very much. Thanks for being here.